Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for the 2022 Kosair Charities Advisory Council grants. I'm Senior Vice President of Communications, Chris Williams. Nearly 24 community leaders serve on the Kosair Charities Advisory Council. It's a committee that provides guidance and offers insight on important issues facing children across Kentucky and southern Indiana. Each year, council members review grant requests from organizations seeking assistance with their missions. This year, approved grants will fund items such as vehicles to carry children to medical appointments, camps to boost self-esteem, school-based dental services for disadvantaged youth, and preparing education for parents for high-risk families. Bob Bonsudo serves as the chair of our advisory council. And Bob, how proud of you are you of the work that you did in choosing these 8 wonderful grantees?
Yeah, Chris, I'm incredibly proud of this group. The Advisory Council has just done a great job in looking at these grants, taking a look to see the impact that they'll make in the community and making sure that the money being spent is well worth it. And recognizing these agencies today is just so critical for our community as we grow and develop through some of the issues that are out there, and how important it is for us to recognize these agencies and the work that they do and how they impact our children around the community.
Bob, thank you for the work that you and the council do. Operation Parent is receiving a $50,000 Kosair Charities Advisory Council grant. Jean Shum is with us. And how are you going to use your grant?
Oh, we're so excited. We're going to use that grant to digitize resources for parents. They'll be able to access prevention education using their phones, their iPads, whatever electronic means they use, and have the tools they never had before.
Well, thank you so much, Jane, and good luck with the work that you're doing. Thank you for helping Kosair Kids. Many of our Kosair Kids have specific needs when it comes to sensory experiences. Little Lighthouse, Central Kentucky is going to use its $45,000 Kosair Charities Advisory Grant for a project that fits those requirements. Carrie Tanis joins us. And Carrie, how are you going to use your grant?
Thank you so much. We are going to use it first to help in our expansion to serve more children. And then that is our gym and our sensory room. And in the gym, we're going to use it to get adaptive equipment so our children can be kids, just be typical kids. Be able to go down a roller slide, be able to have adaptive swings, and be also in our sensory room to have adaptive equipment. They are sensory, so they can have the sensory input that they need to learn.
Important in their learning development. Thank you, Carrie. Transportation is also a key in guaranteeing Kosair Kids get the medical treatment that they need. The Kosair Charities Advisory Council is granting $60,000 to Smoketown Family Wellness Center to answer some of their needs. Dr. Charlotte Stites, everyone knows her in the community as Dr. Charlotte, joins us. And how are you going to use your grant?
So we are thrilled to be able to purchase a vehicle to be able to transport our families. Many of our families have a difficult time accessing well-child appointments, sick appointments, and then getting things that they need like medications. So our community health worker will be able to pick up our families, bring them to appointments, and make sure they get the rest of the things that they need. So we are thrilled to be able to support our families.
We're thrilled for those kids, Dr. Charlotte. Thank you so much. All children need a caring and positive atmosphere in which to bloom. Kosair Charities Advisory Council has granted $25,000 to the Christian Formation Ministries for a project that will create opportunities for Kosair kids who need the most. And joining us is Susanna Jacobson. Susanna, how are you going to use your grant?
We're going to be placing it for our camp for children of prisoners, families who have experienced substance addiction in the home and high ACE scores, and just give them a week to experience childhood at its best.
Every kid needs that, don't they?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Susanna. We often hear about the importance of mental health. NAMI Louisville will use its $75,000 Kosair Charities Advisory Council grant for a project designed to make sure that kids get help and make sure that mental health is accessible to Kosair Kids. Dr. Don Shannon joins us. How grateful are you for this grant?
Well, Domini and Choice Inc. are in partnership to renovate a school bus in order to close the gap for youth mental services to help parents and young people get the resources that they need to help them thrive into adulthood.
Such an important topic, especially right now, isn't it?
Absolutely, and so we want to be an assistance to our community. We want to make sure that other nonprofits that want to implement mental health services and social emotional learning, that they use our services, since we've been doing it for some time, both NAMI and Choice Inc.
Thank you for all the work that you're doing in the community. The transition from teen to adult is difficult. It can be especially difficult for Kosair Kids. Dress for Success will use its $40,000 Kosair Charities Advisory Council grant to empower and help them succeed. Monet Becker is with us. And Monet, we see the outfit here. What are you going to do with your grant?
Sure. So we are going to expand our Mobile Career Center services, which are our most popular program, to youth throughout 13 counties in Kentuckiana. So schools, after school programs, nonprofits. We serve hundreds of youth each year, largely from disadvantaged backgrounds. So we are going to provide them with career workshops, professional attire, and financial literacy to prepare them for life after childhood.
Thank you for all you're doing for Kosair Kids. Kosair Kids who attend 10 JCPS schools will feel the positive impact of a $50,000 grant to Shawnee Christian Healthcare Center. And Lindsay Nelson is with us. And how are you going to use your grant?
So we're going to be expanding our school-based dental to provide more restorative care and address some of the urgent need that we see. Of the 900 kids we've served so far this year, 20% have had serious dental concerns that required immediate attention. So it'll help us to serve those kids.
And so much of overall health care starts with dental care, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does.
Well, thank you for the work that you're doing with Kosair Kids in our community. Kosair Charities President Barry Dunn is feeling the joy hearing all of this. How are you feeling when you hear all of these wonderful organizations and what they're doing with these Kosair Charities Advisory Council grants and the impact they'll have on children? How does that make you feel?
Chris, it makes us feel great here at Kosair Charities. You know, the Advisory Council was formed more than a decade ago to bring opportunities just like this to Kosair Charities. We've heard about the great work that each of these 8 organizations does in the community. We're so honored and thrilled to be a part of that mission, even if it's a small part. And our Advisory Council members, several of whom are here with us today, really looked into the meat of all of the grant applications this year and, might I say, had some very fine results.
It's so important for all of this work, especially as we enter our second century service in 2023.
That's absolutely right. 99 years Kosair Charities has been in the community improving the lives of children. With any luck at all, we're going to be there for another century. And partners like this, partners like those that we just heard from, and the great members of our advisory council are a big reason that Kosair Charities stands here today, 1 century strong. As we head into our second century, the goal's simple: to help more kids in our second 100 years than we did in our first, and we're going to do it.
Thank you, Barry, and thank you, members of the Advisory Council, everyone who makes a big difference in the lives of Kosair kids across our community. If you'd like to learn more, maybe refer a child for treatment or to donate, visit kosair.org.